acid-base titrations. Another type of titrations. Here, acid and base are involved in the titration. One reagent, that is, we have two reagents, and one is titrant and analyzer. Titrant and analytic. Titrant generally taken in burette and in conical flask. We take analyte in conical flask, titrant is in burette. Among these two liquids, one is acid, another one is base. One is acid, another one is base. The type of titrations are called as acid-base titrations. Acid-base titrations. If titrant is acid, that is called as acidimetry. If titrant is a base, that is alkalimetry. That is, acid-base titrations are two types. Titrant may be acid or titrant may be base. If titrant is acid, that is called as acidimetry, and titrant is a base, that is alkalimetry. Okay, alkali is nothing but base. Here, acid-base reaction takes place. Here, acid reacts with base. So that is the acid-base reaction takes place. Now we are writing an acid-base reaction here. So it is taken as simple titration. It is a simple titration. It is a simple titration. Let us take an example, that is HCl reacts with NaOH. HCl reacts with NaOH, that gives NaCl plus H2O. NaCl plus H2O. That means a fixed quantity of HCl reacts with NaOH, that gives NaCl plus H2O. One is HCl and one is NaOH, one is acid and one is base. So now we are going to take one liquid as HCl solution, another one is NaOH solution among these two. So we are going to take titration. Okay. Here indicators are used because HCl, it seems to be just like water. NaOH, it also seems to be just like water. So NaCl in water, that is also like water, and that means it is difficult to identify where the reaction is going to be completed. That means exact reaction where it is completed. That is, it is difficult to identify that end point. To identify that end point, here indicators are also used. These indicators used in acid-base titrations are called as acid-base indicators. The indicators which are used in acid-base titrations, are called as acid-base indicators. These indicators give different colors at different pH values. These indicators give different colors at different pH values. So we know, I think in your 10th class, that is, you know, pH. pH is nothing but negative logarithmic value of H plus ion concentration. So pH at 7, it is neutral solution. pH at less than 7. So pH less than 7, that is acidic solution. pH greater than 7, that is basic solution. That means as pH value changed, automatically the nature of solution also changed. Either acidic, neutral, or basic may be changed. Okay. So at different pH values, these indicators give different colors. How, sir? How this one is explained? So see here. Why indicators give different colors in different pH conditions? Okay. So see here, let us take indicator. indicator ion is indicated with IN. It is nothing but indicator. HIN, that means when it is involved in ionization, that gives H plus ion and IN minus ion. The indicator which releases H plus ion is called as acidic indicator, which releases OH minus ion is called as a basic indicator. So we have acidic indicators are there, basic indicators are there, because indicators are weak organic acids or bases. Indicators are nothing but weak organic acids and bases. That means our indicators may be acidic or basic. In acid-base indicators, so our indicators are maybe acidic or basic. So it is acidic indicator. Let us take MEOH. It is another indicator. It gives Me plus ion and OH minus ion. There OH minus ion is there. That is why it is a basic indicator. It is H plus ion is released. That is why it is acidic indicator. Acidic indicator. That means, so this HIN is not ionized, it is unionized form. It is also unionized. So not going to be ionized. It is unionized. This is a reversible reaction. So ions convert into molecules, molecules convert into ions, no doubt. It is unionized form. It is ionized form. Ions and this I minus ion is called as ionized form. Ionized form. This Me plus ion is called as ionized form. Ionized form. That means indicators are in aqueous solution sometimes exist as unionized form and sometimes exist as ionized form. And this unionized form and ionized form have different colors. This ionized form and unionized form, HIN minus has one color. So this I minus ion has another color. These colors are different. Ionized form, unionized form. These are different in colors. So because here also MuOH, it has one color and Me has another color. Those colors depending on nature of the indicators. So different indicators gives different colors, no doubt. Okay, so that means indicators gives different colors. So because ionized form and unionized form and unionized forms are exist, both have different colors in solutions. So frequently used in acid-base indicators, frequently used indicators are, one is phenolphthalein, one is phenolphthalein, and the other is methyl orange. Phenolphthalein and methyl orange. These are the most frequently used acid-base indicators. Phenolphthalein and methyl orange. This methyl orange is indicated with MEOH. Phenolphthalein is indicated with HPH. Phenolphthalein is indicated with HPH. That means it is acidic indicator. It is basic indicator. So this is ionized like this. This is ionized like this. Okay. So phenolphthalein indicators are there. So methyl orange indicators are there. So these two indicators are frequently used. So these two are nothing but acid-base indicators. So what are the color changes when it is in ionized form or unionized form? So what are the color changes at which these indicators are used? Please see here. So our indicators, indicator, pH range, in which pH range the indicator is used. So color in acidic medium, and color in basic medium, and color in acidic medium, color in basic medium. First of all, we use two indicators frequently. So the detailed explanation we will discuss in ionic equilibrium. And just I'm giving here information about methyl orange and phenolphthalein only. There are several acid-base indicators are there. All those we will discuss in ionic equilibrium chapter. So wait up to the chapter end. So here we are using only two indicators. One is methyl orange, and the second one is phenolphthalein. So phenolphthalein indicator, methyl orange indicator. So methyl orange indicator is indicated with MEOH. Phenolphthalein is indicated with HPH. These are the symbols. So the pH range of methyl orange is 3.1 to 4.2. So in this pH range, this methyl orange is good in working condition. So in this pH only, we are giving methyl orange indicator. Here it is 8.1 to 10.2 is the pH range of this indicator. Every indicator has a certain pH range. In that pH range only, that indicator is efficiency is more. In that pH range only, indicator efficiency is more. So colors, it is red in color in acidic medium and orange is in basic medium. Red color, orange color. In acidic medium, methyl orange color is red. In basic medium, methyl orange color is orange. So here also, in acidic medium, it is colorless. In basic medium, it is pink in color or sometimes red and pink in color. These are the different colors. So the frequently used acid-base indicators are methyl orange and phenolphthalein. The pH range of methyl orange is 3.1 to 4.2. In this pH range only, the methyl orange efficiency is more. So acts as indicator only in this pH range. That means, so there is acid reacts with base that gives salt and water. So the salt aqueous solution pH is, let it be, there is 3.5 aqueous solution pH. The salt aqueous solution pH is 3.5. It is in between this one or this one or this one, no doubt. That means in this case, methyl orange indicator is used. For example, the aqueous solution, salt aqueous solution pH value is, I think it is at the 10, pH value is 10. Now, in this case, phenolphthalein indicator is used. So here, phenolphthalein is not used. Here, methyl orange is not used. So depending on the pH range of the acid-base solutions, final solutions, so we choose acid-base indicators. So frequently used acid-base indicators are, so these are the only two acid-base indicators are frequently used. One is methyl orange and phenolphthalein. So note point, my dear boys. Strong acid versus strong base if there is a titration. Strong acid and strong base, there is a reaction between strong acid and strong base. Here, either methyl orange or phenolphthalein. Both indicators are used. This one and this one, both are used. So we are using generally strong acid and strong base. That is why either of these two indicators are used in our titrations, and either of these two used in our titrations. So I think it is okay, my dear boys. So what are acid-base titrations? If the reactions, if the titrations involving acid and base are called as acid-base titrations. Okay, these are nothing but simple titrations. Next one. So we should not identify that is endpoint end or equivalence point end because all those are in identical color. Same in color, just like in water and acid and bases and salt solutions, all these are the same color. That is why it is not possible to identify endpoints. That is why there must be indicators are required. Indicators. The frequently used acid-base indicators are. So what are indicators? These are nothing but weak organic acids and bases. They have different colors in different media. So those are methyl orange indicators and phenolphthalein indicator. So methyl orange in acidic solution is in red color, in basic solution orange in color. So it is colorless and pink in color. That is why phenolphthalein indicator sign. Okay. If acid and base both are strong acid and strong base, automatically both these indicators are used. Right? Both these indicators are used. So why this gives different colors? Because in aqueous solution, in solution phase, that our indicator may be undissociated form or dissociated form. Dissociated form and undissociated forms of indicators have different colors. That is why they show different colors. That is why they show different colors. So these are the points involved in indicators. Now we are going to take some problems based on these indicators. So is there any doubt up to this? Is there any doubt? Please give your response. Is there any doubt, my dear boys? Okay, okay. Thank you. Now I'm going to take some problems based on this acid-base indicator study. It is number of times repeated bit any in your objective site. So see here, the question is gastric juice contains 3 gram HCl per liter. 3 gram HCl per liter. That means, so in our stomach, some gastric problems are there. So that is nothing but gastric juice. So that is due to the presence of this 3 grams HCl per liter. If a person produces 2.5 liters gastric juice per day, then find out the number of tablets each containing 400 milligrams ALOH thrice required to neutralize HCl produced per day. HCl produced per day. This is the question. So generally in our stomach, so no doubt some acids are released. So if acid part is more, that means that goes to acidity and so to neutralize that acidity, our some packets like chemicals are the solutions are we are drinking to neutralize that one. Those packets have bases in it. Bases. Okay, those bases are nothing but aluminum hydroxide like bases in it. Aluminum hydroxide like bases. That means in our stomach, acids are there. We are taking bases. That means that acid and base is going to be neutralized. So our acidity problem is solved. As nothing but antacids. So these are antacids. Okay. So now, how many such type of tablets are required for this condition? How many antacids, that is bases, are required tablets? So each tablet having 400 milligrams. So each tablet contains 400 milligrams. That is why how many tablets are required? First of all, so calculate the how much is the aluminum hydroxide required for that one. So see here. So what are the conditions given here? See Here HCl, about HCl and about HCl, HCl has 3 grams and that too per liter. 3 grams per liter. That means 3 grams HCl in 1 liter solution. Now, a person produces 2.5 liters. That means how much HCl is there? 2.5 liters has how much weight? 2.5 has how much weight? Okay. So that is 3 into 2.5, which is equal to 7.5 grams HCl is there. That means per day in our stomach or in that person, 7.5 grams HCl is produced. 7.5 grams HCl is produced. As per our equation, so 3 moles HCl reacts with 1 mole AlOH thrice, because the neutralized one is AlOH thrice, gives AlCl3 plus 3H2O. It is a reaction between the acid and base. Here 3 moles HCl reacts with 1 mole AlOH thrice. 1 mole AlOH. That means 3 into 36.5 grams HCl required 1 into, what is the molecular weight of aluminum hydroxide? Aluminum 27, hydroxide 70, 370 is 51 and so that is why our answer is 8 plus 7, that is 78 grams and 78 grams AlOH thrice. That means this much grams of HCl required this much grams of AlOH thrice. Now we have 7.5 grams HCl in it. That means 7.5 grams HCl required how much of aluminum hydroxide? So let it be X. So calculate that X by cross multiplication. X is equal to 78 into 7.5 by 3 into 36.5 and 3 into 36.5. Okay. So that is equal to how much? Okay. So it is in milligrams time. That is why I'm converting this one into milligrams. So it is into 10 power 3 milligrams into 10 power 3 milligrams. So that is why we get answer which is equal to 5342.465 milligrams and this much milligrams of AlOH thrice is required. So actually one tablet contains how many milligrams? 400 milligrams and here I am explaining. One tablet has 400 milligrams of AlOH thrice. Here how many milligrams? 5342.46 milligrams contains required how many times? That is equal to 5342.46 by 400. So how many milligrams? It is generally 13.35 and it is roughly taken as a 14 tablets. Roughly taken as a 14 tablets. So this is the way to find out the number of tablets. 14 tablets. 14 tablets are required. See my dear boys, first of all, I am find out how much AlOH thrice is required. So one tablet has this much. So our required value has how many tablets? So that is the conversion. So this is a way to find out how many milligrams of aluminum hydroxide required. So is this clear? Is there any doubt? First of all, I find out how much is the HCl weight. By using that HCl weight, aluminum hydroxide weight in milligrams, I find out it. So by using this aluminum hydroxide, how many tablets we are going to find? Okay. So this is the way. So next point. One more problem on this acid-base titration. See here. Find out the Mass of borax completely neutralized. Completely neutralized by 25 ml, 0.2 m HCl solution. 25 ml, 0.2 m HCl solution. Now, molecular weight of borax is equal to 382 and 382. So that is the question given to you. And molecular weight of borax is 382. So find out the mass of borax. Actually, borax is nothing but, see here. So our solution is borax. It is nothing but Na2B4O7 10H2O. Na2B4O7 10H2O. It is called as borax. It is called as borax. So when it is dissolved in water, that gives 2 moles NaOH and 4 moles H3BO3 and 2 moles NaOH and 4 moles H2BO3 and that means 1 mole borax liberates 2 moles NaOH. From this 2 moles NaOH, 2 OH minus ions are released. 2 OH minus ions. Because it releases 2 OH minus, that means this solution has basic in nature. Our borax is basic in nature and its N factor is equal to 2. N factor is equal to 2. Or this Na2B4O7 is ionized as 2 Na plus ions and B4O7 minus 2 ion. So it is the salt, no doubt. So total positive charge is equal to plus 2, total minus charge is equal to minus 2. Therefore, N factor is equal to 2. So like this or like this, whatever it may be, the N factor is 2. H3BO3 is called as orthoboric acid. Orthoboric acid, it is a weak acid. So its influence is negligible. So it is a strong base, it is weak acid. That is the solution has a strong nature, that is basic nature. Therefore, aqueous solution of basic is basic in nature. Aqueous solution of borax is basic in nature. See once again. So borax is nothing but the formula is Na2B4O7. Na2B4O7. Okay, when it is dissolved in water, it breaks down. It gives NaOH and H3BO3. NaOH and H3. This H3BO3 is weak acid, nothing but orthoboric acid or simply called as boric acid. NaOH is a strong base. It is a strong base. That's why the solution contains this mixture. Aqueous solution of basic. The aqueous solution of borax contains this mixture. That means it is a strong base. That is why the solution is basic in nature. The entire solution of borax is basic in nature. How many OH minus ions released? So 2 NaOH means 2 OH minus ions. That number of NaOH OH minus ions released is nothing but N factor. Therefore, N factor is 2. Or otherwise, it is taken as a salt. The salt is a 2 Na plus or B4O7 minus 2 ions exists. So total positive charge is 2 into plus 2. Total minus charge is minus 2. So magnitude of total positive or total negative is nothing but N factor. So no doubt it is N factor 2. N factor 2. Okay. So that is why using equivalence, law of equivalence. So gram equivalence of this one is equal to gram equivalence of this one. Because it is base, it is acid. So acid base reaction takes place. So gram equivalence of acid is equal to gram equivalence of base. So now I am taking calculations. So gram equivalence of borax is equal to gram equivalence of HCl. Gram equivalence of HCl. Gram equivalents are nothing but, so because we are calculating mass, gram equivalence is equal to weight by gram equivalent weight of borax is equal to, that is volume and molarity are given to you. So that is volume in liters into normality of HCl and normality of HCl. Okay, so weight, we are going to calculate borax weight by gram equivalent of borax, molecular weight by n factor 2, and it is equivalent weight is equal to volume in liters. So milliliters is given to you, milliliters to liters only. So that is why, so 25 by 1000 liters into normality is nothing but n factor into molarity. For HCl n factor is 1. For HCl n factor is 1. That is the normality is equal to molarity. That is equal to 0.2 into 1 and 0.2 into 1. So that means it is borax part, it is HCl part. These two are equal because exact neutralization takes place. Whenever exact neutralization takes place, whenever a chemical reaction is going to complete, so gram equivalence of first one is equal to gram equivalence of second one. So by using that, we calculate weight of this borax. After net calculation is equal to 0.955 grams and try yours. Final answer is 0.955 grams. 0.955 grams. Now our answer is, find out the mass of borax. How much is the mass of borax? 0.955 grams of borax is there in that solution for exact neutralization. So whenever exact neutralization is there, okay, 995, okay, accept it. Someone gives exact reaction value, that is 995. Okay, so what is the, now back titrations. What are these back titrations? I will give the statements here. Here, one substance reacts with two or more substances of same nature. Substances of same nature or similar nature. One substance reacts with two or more substances of same nature. So what is the statement here? So back titration is also similar to simple titrations, is also similar to direct titrations. Also similar to direct titrations, but one solution is titrated with, excess of other substance. Excess of other substance solution. The unreacted standard solution is titrated back. See, my dear boys, I will explain. So let us take a beaker. It is acid. It requires 10 gram equivalents of base for exact neutralization. So this acid requires 10 gram equivalents of base for exact neutralization. Unexpectedly, we added We added greater than 10 gram equivalents and base and unequally, unexpectedly, we added here greater than 10 gram equivalents of base and. That means this solution, the acid, sorry, okay, this acid solution now becomes basic because more base is there. More base is there. How much more is there? More base is there. How much more base? That means it is excess end. How much more base we added is titrated with acid. Is titrated with acid. That means actually we are taking here acid. That acid is titrated with the base. Unexpectedly more base is added. That more, how much more base is we added is titrated against once again acid. That means here acid and acid. That means here base and two similar acids. So that means one substance is titrated with two or more substances of same type. So here base is titrated with same type of acid. The same type of acid. There is a principle here. So see here, back titration is also similar to direct titration, but one solution is titrated with excess of other substance. This is excess of other substance. The excess substance is titrated against with back end. So because it is base, excess is identified with the help of acid. Because if it is acid, that is titrated with base. Okay. See, my dear boys, one chemical is titrated with two chemicals. So one is in excess, that excess is titrated with base end. That excess is titrated with base. So now we are taking some problems. So no doubt it will clarify. Okay. So where these back titrations are used? The most important back titration application is used in Geldar's method. So it is the most important method to find out how much nitrogen is present in your given organic compound. That is Geldar's method. The total Geldal method is totally based on this back titration concept. Back titration. By using this back titration, we can calculate percentage purity of the chemicals also. So we are taking here. So Geldar's method, it is most important in your organic chemistry. So in your organic chemistry, there is Geldal method to find out to estimate the nitrogen. Okay. So not now. It is in your second year. It is in your organic chemistry. At the time of organic chemistry, we will discuss the Geldal method. That is totally based on this back titration concept. Okay. What are the problems here? See the problem. A sample of chalk weighing 1.5 grams was dissolved in 200 ml, 0.1 m dilute HCl. Good stuff. The solution required 50 ml of 0.2 m. Sorry. 0.2 n NaOH solution to neutralize the excess acid. to neutralize the excess acid. What is the weight of? What is the weight of? What is the weight of CaCO3 in sample? And calculate the percentage purity of the sample. It is previous bit. See, my dear boys, listen carefully. So see here, there is a beaker. This is 200 ml, 0.1 m HCl solution. 200 ml, 0.1 m HCl solution. In this beaker, okay, a chalk piece is added. So it is a piece of chalk. So its weight is how much? 1.5 grams. 1.5 grams of chalk is added. Actually, this chalk contains CaCO3, calcium carbonate. So the chalk is made with calcium carbonate. It is basic acid. Calcium carbonate is basic acid. This is acid. No doubt, this base reacts with acid. But this is excess amount. This is in excess. So a little amount of base is added. So that base reacts with existing acid, but unreacted acid is there. That is in excess amount. That unreacted acid required. See here, 50 ml 0.2 N. 50 ml 0.2 N NaOH solution. Okay. So that means once again it is a base. Here one acid treated with two bases. That means one substance reacted with similar type of two or more substances. It is nothing but back titration. What happened here? So first of all, here what is the weight of CaCO3 is how much? What is the percentage purity of this chalk content? So what is the percentage purity of this chalk? So see here. Actually, gram equivalence of CaCO3 is equal to gram equivalence of acid, but it is an excess amount. That excess is treated with this one. So here we applied. This is the base. Gram equivalence of CaCO3 is equal to gram equivalence of HCl actually. But this is an excess. That excess is treated with this one. That means how much is reacted with this one? This one minus this one is equal to reacted with this one. And that is minus gram equivalence of NaOH. Minus gram equivalence of NaOH. Is the statement clear, my dear boys? It is the basic for back titration study. Actually, these two are reacted. Some excess is there. That excess is reacted with this one. That means how much is reacted? Total minus this one is equal to reacted with this one. So total gram equivalence of HCl minus gram equivalence of NaOH is equal to reacted gram equivalence of CaCO3. Is this clear or not? Give your response. Otherwise, I am not continuing. My dear boy. Okay. So see here. Gram equivalence, instead of gram equivalence, I am using milli equivalence. Both are same. Volume in milliliters, milli equivalence. Milli equivalence of CaCO3 is equal to milli equivalence of NaOH, HCl, it is also milliequivalents of NaOH, milliequivalents. So milliequivalents, see here, which is equal to milliequivalents of HCl, normality into volume in milliliters. HCl, N factor is equal to 1, therefore normality is equal to molarity. So molarity, normality into volume in milliliters, 200 into 0.1 minus milliequivalents of NaOH. So normality into volume in milliliters. So 0.2 into 50 0.2 into 50. So that is equal to, it is 20 minus by, that is how much it is 10 and it is equal to 10 gram equivalents. So therefore milliequivalents of CaCO3 is equal to 10. Milliequivalents of CaCO3 is equal to 10. So now our formula, our calculation is, let's see here, I'm calculating here. Milliequivalents means it is in weight form, weight by gram equivalent weight into 1000. Weight by gram equivalent weight into 1000 in weight side. So this is equal to this one. And therefore, weight by gram equivalent weight of CaCO3. CaCO3, its molecular weight is 100. Calcium 40, carbon 12, 3 into 16. Overall, it is equal to 100. Therefore, 100 molecular weight by CaCO3, it is plus 2, it is minus 2. Magnitude is 2 and that is the equivalent weight by 2 into 1000 is equal to 10. Is equal to 10. Therefore, how much is the weight? So, it is 2W into 1000 by 100 is equal to 10. This one cancel, this one cancel. Therefore, W is equal to 1 by 2 grams, 0.5 grams. And therefore, how much CaCO3 is there? 0.5 grams and 0.5 grams. So is this clear? Is this clear? Now, so first question is completed. Next, calculate the percentage purity. Percentage purity means, so weight by total weight into 100. Percentage purity is equal to weight by total. Actually, how much weight is taken? 1.5 grams into 100. It is 3 times, that is 33.3%. 33.3% purity. That means the total chalk doesn't contain CaCO3. Only a few fraction, few amount is available. Only a few amount is available. So that is the percentage of CaCO3. That is 3.33%. Percentage of CaCO3. That is not purity of chalk. Okay. Clear or not? It is a way to find out percentage purity or weight of chemicals to be find out. To find out. Okay. Next one. Next one. Same model. I'm waiting from your side. I'm expecting your calculations. 20 grams of sample, sample of barium hydroxide, grams of sample of barium hydroxide is dissolved in 10 ml of 0.5 N HCl solution. HCl solution. The excess of HCl was titrated with was titrated with 0.2 N, was titrated with 0.2 N NaOH. NaOH. The volume of NaOH used was the volume of NaOH used was 10 cc. 10 cc. Calculate the percentage of barium hydroxide in the sample. Exactly before problem ending. Exactly. There chalk is used, here barium hydroxide is used. I am expecting from you. I'm expecting from you. So given barium, atomic weight of barium is equal to 137. Barium hydroxide 137 plus 16 plus 1 17, 17 to 34. 7 plus 4 11, 6 plus 1 7, 1 and 171. Therefore, weight by 171 by, it is a dibasic one, that is a basicity 2 into 1000 and is equal to 3. Therefore, weight of BaOH twice is equal to, after final calculation, we get 0.2565 grams and 0.2565 grams. Now, finally, percentage weight. So, next calculation, percentage weight is equal to actual weight by given weight 20 into 100. That is equal to 5 times. So, multiply with 5 and 1.28. 1.2825% is there. Adibas, did you understand my problem? It is very, very important. It is very, very important. Is this clear? Okay, last problem based on this topic. 0.13 grams sample of sample of purified carbonate is dissolved in 50 ml of 0.1 m HCl and boiled to remove CO2. In back titration, it requires 24 ml, 0.1 m NaOH solution. Find the molar mass of carbonate. Find the molar mass of carbonate. Once again, carbonate gram milliequivalence is equal to HCl minus NaOH. So find out milliequivalence. Weight by gram equivalent weight into 1000. Gram equivalent is nothing but gram molecular weight by carbonate. Its M factor is 2 only. Find out that. Weight is given to you. Find out the molecular weight. Similar as usual. So instead of our chalk and barium hydroxide, here purified carbonate is taken in. That's enough. That is the only difference in these three problems. Here milliequivalence of carbonate is equal to milliequivalence of HCl minus milliequivalence of NaOH. Milliequivalence of HCl minus milliequivalence of NaOH. Therefore, milliequivalence of carbonate is equal to milliequivalence of HCl. That is normality into volume in ml. So 0.1 m means 0.1 n also. So 50 minus 0.1, sorry, 50 into 0.1 minus, here also n factor 1 and n factor is equal to 1. Here also n factor is equal to 1. That is a 0.1 n and therefore, so 24 into 0.1, that is equal to 5 minus 2.4, that is equal to 2.6 n. It is milliequivalence. Okay. So therefore, milliequivalence of carbonate, that is weight by gram equivalent weight of carbonate into 1000 is equal to 2.6. Therefore, weight, how much weight of carbonate is given? 0.13. Gram equivalent weight, gram molecular weight by n factor 2 into 1000 is equal to 2.6. Gram equivalent is nothing but gram molecular weight by n factor. N factor for carbonate. Carbonate is nothing but CO3 2 minus Ra. Therefore, n factor 2 only. So n factor 2. Therefore, finally, gram molecular weight is equal to, we will get 100, I think. Calculate it once again, my dear boys. I don't calculate. Calculate it. Am I correct? No, it is 100. See here, it is 0.26 into 1000 is equal to 2.6 into gram molecular weight. It is in here 10 times. It is 10. Okay. Gram molecular weight is equal to 100. So, did you understand, my dear boys? Did you understand? First of all, a chemical treated with, see here, excess of HCl is there. How much excess is identified with this one? So that is subtracted, that gives reacted one and reacted one. So similar, weight is, gram molecular weight is the calculated. Gram molecular weight is calculated. Okay. Okay. So this is about your back titrations. You know, is there any problem? One more problem. Yes, one more is there. So, yes, it is the last problem for today's class. Please wait. Tomorrow we will discuss another topic. .13 grams. 1.13 grams of an ammonium salt was boiled with 100 ml of NaOH solution. Till the evolution of ammonia gas, till the evolution of ammonia gas was given off. Was given off. 60 ml of NH2SO4 were required to neutralize the excess of NaOH present in remaining mixed solution. Find the percentage of ammonium salt. Find the percentage of ammonium salt. First of all, calculate ammonium salt. Weight by given weight into 100 is the percentage weighted. First of all, calculate the weight. Here, which one is in excess? NaOH is in excess. Okay. So, what is the condition here? So, milli equivalent ammonium salt is equal to excess one NaOH and milli equivalents of NaOH minus milli equivalents of H2SO4. Milli equivalents of H2SO4. My dear boys, here N means 1 N. Here also N means 1 N solution. That is the meaning of N solution. N means 1N. So here milliequivalents of NaOH, which is equal to volume in milliliters, NaOH is 100 ml into NaOH 1N minus milliequivalents of HCl 60 into 1N. That is equal to 40. Therefore, milliequivalents of NH4OH salt, that is weight of salt by gram molecular weight of salt gram equivalent weight into 1000. That is equal to weight by ammonium. Ammonium means NaH4 plus is gram ionic weight or molecular weight is equal to nitrogen 14 plus hydrogen 4. Sorry, ammonia. Here ammonium salt means let's separate ammonia and NaH3. So 3 which is equal to 17. Its N factor is equal to 1. N factor is equal to 1. Therefore, 17 by 1 into 1000 is equal to 40. That implies weight is equal to 0.68 grams. 0.68 grams. Now percentage weight, percentage purity. Percentage of ammonium salt is equal to that is 0.68 by 1.13 into 100. 0.68 by 1.13 into 100. It is equal to 60.18%. It is equal to 60.18%. So see my dear boys, milliequivalents of it is NaH3 because ammonia is liberated, that is why it is NaH3 is equal to milliequivalents of NaOH and milliequivalents of HClSO4. Milliequivalents of NH4, see here. NaH4 plus ion is equal to milliequivalents of NaH3. Milliequivalents of NH4 plus ion is equal to milliequivalents of NH3. That milliequivalents of NH3 is equal to this one. So finally we get final answer, that is 60.188.